Hello everyone, and here the little Frenchie in Big Texas. Today we are in the kitchen and I want to share with you my latest experiment here, which is sourdough bread. So this is my first loaf and I'm actually very proud of it. And all this is a big thank you to Iris at the Color Drop, because she has a playlist on everything that's yeast, how to make sourdough bread. And I commented on it and asked how do you make the starter. And she actually sent me a very tiny envelope, less than a teaspoon of starter. So I followed her instructions here, very clear instructions, and I actually expanded it. As you can see, here is the one I'm keeping in the fridge right now, but it grew very quickly and I made my first loaf of sourdough bread. So I did not add anything on top here. It's just a plain sourdough bread, but it's looking really good. So thank you, Iris. If you haven't checked out her channel, please do so. It's a lot of painting and handicraft, but she has that playlist which is really interesting on how to make sourdough. So check it out and let's try this bread. Oh, that is it. I got it now. All right, so that is my loaf of bread. I'm gonna put here and cut it here. Let's see. Wow, look at that. Nice. Let me try a tiny slice here just to get a taste of that sourdough bread. Let me put you up with me and try it out. It's crunchy on the crust. It's really good. Wow, I really like it. I need to try to put a bit of flavor on top to just spice it up a bit. Iris, thank you so much. Awesome recipe. Thank you for sharing your starter. It works. I just need to keep it alive and I'm following your instructions. And here are some pictures to show you the different steps, especially the beginning on how to reconstitute the starter given it was dehydrated. Enjoy. So this is how it all started, with that letter from Iris sharing with me some of her dehydrated starter, which is over 100 years old. Hard to believe, right? So the first step was to rehydrate it. So as you see, it was less than a teaspoon and I added some filtered water to it and pretty much mixed it all well together and let it sit overnight. That was the first step. So make sure it's mixed. Of course, you cover it. You don't want anything to get into your little starter mix. But that is it. It really requires patience to start, to get the starter activated first, back to a hydrated stage, and then to feed it, because that is the first step. Then you need to grow it and feed it. And every time it is the same ingredients. You're gonna have water and flour. And what's important here is for the water is to be filtered water and the flour to be unbleached. And then you can use a mix. I use a mix of the all-purpose flour here, unbleached, with some white rice flour. But it's really up to you on the kind of flour, as long as it's unbleached, and the water filtered. And then you put pretty much 1/3 of each, equal quantities of your starter. As you can see here, that was my starter after a good overnight stay, I would say. A good night. So you need as much starter as flour and water. You mix it well and you let it sit again overnight. So the way I did it morning and evening and let it sit either during the day or during the night to grow. And it pretty much doubled in size every time I was feeding it. And you can see here the different levels, how it started and how much it grew at each feed. And it's not just the growth. If you look at it, you can see all the bubbles. I mean, this is a living thing. You can see it grow and the bubbles all around it. I initially started covering it with the jar lid, and I'm not sure it was the best option here because I really wanted it to breathe. So at the end, I ended up covering it with that cloth here and an elastic band around it. A little close-up here from the side, just for you to see all the bubbles of this very nice starter. Rehydrated very nicely. It just takes patience, pretty much. You need a few days to just rehydrate it and grow it to a level where you have enough to bake and enough also to grow again. And for storage, you can just put it in the fridge and it should stay there for quite a while. My understanding, I haven't tried yet. And if you want to dehydrate as well, just very low temperature if you want to keep it longer. And there it was, ready to bake. So what I did is I took about 2 small tablespoons of the starter, mixed it up with some filtered water, a bit of salt, Himalayan salt I used, and some all-purpose flour. And that is it. These are your main ingredients. And then I fed my starter again just to go back to that initial level and put it in the fridge to keep. But if you want to see more details on how to make it, please go and check out Iris at The Color Drop. She has quite a few videos detailed on how to do it, so check her out and please post a comment and let her know that the little Frenchie sent you over. I hope you give it a try. Thank you all for watching.